Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about some of the FPV components that I think that are going to make for a great build. Also checking out the iFlight Vertigo frame that I just received. First of all, I've had a frame like this before. It was from a company called Mocha. That frame is so nice, but the thing about it, it was so difficult to work on, especially the amount of space inside. This one, kind of the same, to be honest, a little. But what's different about this is you get a lot more room inside, like a lot more room. And the reason for that is also it only takes a 20 by 20 stack. Now, what I'm planning on doing currently with this frame, since when I put it together, it seems very sturdy, very rigid, and it seems to be somewhat nice in the field if I had to work on. I don't think it's going to be super complicated to take off the top plate. The camera will come off with it, but that's totally fine. It's really easy to put back together. It's not going to be really annoying if something happens here. And also the aluminum pieces are really strong aluminum, possibly 7075 aluminum, because when I tightened in the screws, basically the aluminum just didn't melt, which is a really great sign. Now it is a really nice looking frame. I don't know how well its performance for freestyle would be or racing. For racing, it's a pretty heavy frame actually. Dry weight of this frame is 117 grams. So it is pretty heavy for a racing frame, more like a freestyle frame with just something different. This is the category I'm going into it, trying to be unique or something. So, you know, since I have so many quads, I just really wanted to put it together, and you know what? I kind of actually like how it looks and how it feels, and it seems like it's going to take a beating, which is really nice. Not that I crash that often, but it's really great. Now, but when you take a look at the motors, you get no motor protection. Camera protection is somewhat minimal. I mean, it depends on your camera. You could probably recess this back a little bit, or we could even just CNC this, some new camera plates that'll have just more carbon fiber coming up front. Actually, we can totally do that. This is 2mm carbon fiber. Maybe I'll do that in the next video upcoming. So we'll probably modify and make a new camera plates for this frame, and it'll look really nice. Now, this can be used both as a top mount and a bottom mount battery, but I think it's aimed more towards bottom mount. Because, for example, I'm going to be building a 6S beast here with a 20 by 20 stack, and we'll get into the details right now. So if you put the battery up here, you're going to have to move it back slightly. This is a 6S right now, 1300 milliamp Infinity graphene, which are really great batteries, by the way. So you'd have to move this back so you don't get the lipo in the shot of the camera here, depending on the angle you're going to be going at. But you can fly this top mount, but I do think you might run the risk of hitting the propeller into the battery, which is a really big nightmare, especially on 6S. And if you're flying in a pretty dry field, you can totally risk catching the whole place on fire. So being a top mount, I do not recommend, and I don't think it's meant for that. It is also a bottom mount, and that's where I'm going to be placing the battery here. So right on the bottom, up top will go the GoPro, and you could just really enjoy it. Now it looks really nice for some reason. I really like how it came out. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, to look this nice, and once I built it, I just decided to go for it, like just to completely do a build video on this guy. Now, for the components that I'm thinking of using, since I really want to build a 6S setup, since I do have quite a lot of 6S lipos and not many 6S quadcopters, and the Emax Buzz was okay, but it was somewhat of a disappointment in my opinion. So what I went for the motors, let's take a closer look at the motors. Now, I went for Mamba motors. Why? First of all, they're cheap. These are the 6S version. These are, I think, 1700 kV, if I remember correctly, 1750 kV motors. So I went for the 6S version. Why did I go for the Mamba motors? Okay, one, they're cheap. Two, I've used the high kV version on the latest Diatone, which I'll have linked down below. That one's a really high kV, and it flies beautiful. One of the best bind and flies you could purchase. I think the two top ones, in my opinion, from the ones that I've used, are the new Diatone, which I forgot its name. They have so many names. The new Diatone, and as well as the Holybro Copus 2. Those are the two best BNFs you could possibly purchase. But that's just from my use. But the Diatone just takes it on a whole new level. So this is the reason why I chose these Mamba motors, because I wanted to test the 6S version of them. Hopefully they're as good as the high kV brothers, and we'll get to see that in the field. Now for camera, I'm using the caddx ratel because I want to see how good it is. Now, latency wise, it wasn't really great, but for such an application, for what we're going to be using it for, or what I am going to be using it for, it doesn't really matter. It's going to fly just fine. I'm not racing, and as long as it has good video quality, as people are saying, then why not? Let's try it out. Also, now if we take a look at the stacking solutions, what we do have is 20 by 20 stacks. Now the 20 by 20 stack is going to be really great because you can fit a lot in here. And you can see we got quite a lot of space inside here. So we have around 35 millimeters of stack height in here. So that is plenty enough to do what we want. Yeah, the wires kind of make it possibly hard to see, but we do have a lot of space inside. So let me just actually move these wires out of the way. I just want to put it all together to kind of get an idea of how it would look and to kind of show you what to expect. So that is 35 millimeters of complete stack height in there. So it's really great because what we're going to be using is this combo here. This is like the most premium combo you can possibly purchase. That is a 20 by 20 stack, and it's the Halibro Copus, the Halibro Tico Mini, I think. So this is a 20 by 20 stack with 6S capable ESCs, BL32, and you just get, you know, it's a beast of a stack. You get, I think it's F7 flight controller, OSD, barometer. It's just the whole thing. And not only that, when you open down here, you also have a nice little VTX. So this will fit really, really nicely inside. And let me show you how much space that'll only take. So here's the worst case scenario. We will take half of the space in there. So yeah, there we go. Oh, it's a little bit hard to see, but bear with me. It's because of that stupid little line. We're going to be left with a lot of space. So this stack is a total height from worst case scenario is around 15 millimeters. So 15 millimeters, we have 35 millimeters in there. We could, you know, double-sided tape this somewhere up top, or design and 3D print something with some kind of a TPU for the VTX, as well as the, or what we can do is actually we can create some sort of like a 20 by 20 TPU stack that'll go on top. But no, I don't think that's really smart. I was gonna say we're gonna put the VTX next to the receiver, but I don't think that's a great idea. We'll figure it out. I think I'll put usually what I usually end up doing is I would put the receivers behind the camera, tape them to the camera if there's enough room, and that works out really great most of the time. So we'll see when we're gonna start building it. Now, if you guys wanna see this to be a 4S build with something like a high KVT motors, like the new ones with the Popos, then we can totally go for that. But I really want to try this on a 6S, and hopefully it's going to be really great. I really am loving the design and the looks of it, and I'm really hoping it's going to have really great flight characteristics, and we're not going to need much tuning to get this going in the air great on a 6S. And it's going to give us a really nice platform to test the new camera, the motors, the frame, and as well as the new 6S stack. I will be doing the noise. Did I do the noise testing? I don't even remember. But if I didn't do the noise testing, I'll be doing the noise testing on this very soon. 6S noise testing. So overall, this is my current plan. It might change from here to here, but I'm pretty confident that this is what I'm going to be executing. I'll have everything linked down below if you want to go ahead and check those out. And just a little side note, if you're looking for great 6S batteries, the ones that I've used, these are okay. The China Hobbyline 6S, the white ones, they're okay. They do sometimes tend to lose balance a little bit, but I do thrash them pretty hard. So they're still holding up very well. So that's a really big sign. For 4S, these are one of the best batteries I've used other than the Eternity Graphenes. But I think these are slightly better actually. They're taking a lot of beating and they're handling very well. The China Hobbyline, I'll have them linked down below, Amazon, everywhere, so you can go ahead and check those out. And for 6S, this is a really great battery. The Infinity RS4 6S graphene. This is really, really great. Not only that, this is a 6S 1300 milliamp, but when you compare it with a 4S 1500 milliamp, you find them to be just about the same size. So that's really great. I don't know about the weight, I haven't weighed it, but possibly this will probably end up weighing more, obviously. But overall, this is what I'm planning on doing. I'll have everything linked down below. It is a really nice looking frame, very sturdy, very rigid, and the aluminum, I don't know if I mentioned this, is really great aluminum because I did tighten this down as hard as I could and the aluminum didn't melt, which means they're using pretty good aluminum, above I think 60-65, which is something you want in you know, such a quadcopter here. And the supports here are pretty strong as well, as you can tell. Well, let me show you. It does have some flex, but they're overall they're really rigid, really strong, but it's really thin, so don't expect much. It'll add some impact resistance here, so it doesn't bend the aluminum possibly, but I don't think you'll be bending this anytime soon. So overall, this is what I'm planning on doing with this. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I'll have everything here linked down below, and if you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.